Welcome back, everybody. This is round number 3 of the MTGPL presents Legacy Fight Night. I am Beyond Sadistic. With me is Dr. Leo yet again. Doc, holy crap, man. I'm still shaking.
That was fun. And you know what? The combo train is not ending in this matchup. We have Mike Diff, one of our local mods, and also Elves Masters in the house, bringing his patented Elves deck. And honestly, Mike has so many reps with this deck. It is so streamlined. And honestly, I really am excited to watch Mike go off with this. But Spy 212 is bringing that Punishing Fire classic lands deck. What do you think about this matchup?
You know, this is actually going to be an interesting matchup. The fact that Elves is a combo-based strategy in most cases, and that lands is very, very good at removing creatures. Once it gets rolling, it's very good at utilizing its graveyard. It's very good at recurring its resources. It's very good at mopping up the mess. I think this is actually going to be a pretty intense matchup. If Mike can get off fast enough, I don't think Spy 212 is going to have a chance. But if he stumbles at all, it might hurt quite a bit.
You know, traditionally lands does have a little bit of problem game one versus any sort of combo deck, but this is a creature-based combo deck. So the Punishing Fire is actually a viable thing in this matchup, as well as the fact that this is also a 2-bolt lands deck.
You're right,
so
exactly.
I could definitely see it. And honestly, Spy 212 and I have played before, and this new card, Valakut Exploration, is just so good.
It is. It's absolutely a house.
It just kills so fast. I honestly think this gives the fastest kill that Lands has outside of Depths.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. Looks like Spy's going to keep 7. Mike is going to mulligan. Yeah, I think this is going to be. This is going to be an intense matchup, but it's going to be a good one, definitely. Tabernacle is really good against Elves as well, Champagne. I totally agree.
Tabernacle basically invalidates the mana advantage that Gaia's Cradle does. So that is really big. So, but that being said, with Mike go down to 6, who's on the play for this one?
Spy 212 is actually on the play.
Spy 212? Spy's on the play. Okay. So what's going to matter here is that turn 1 exploration. That's always the thing that Lands wants to see, is that fast exploration, get that mana advantage going and leverage those extra land drops. Because Wasteland can also be very viable here against Elves, since it does lean on cards like Dryad Arbor and Bayou.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And Dad Zaff said, stop telling Walked Airplane. It's a cool deck. He's about to start playing other decks in paper with me. My Strifle pile might see turn 6 one day. While I will never stop telling him it's a cool deck, I don't think your Strifle pile will ever see turn 6 against that deck. Just saying. And you guys can actually see Walked stream that deck also. So if you come to our Discord in the promotional channel, Walked is going to post his information in the promotional channel. That way you can see him stream it also.
Yeah, I really like how the Entombsday, it does beat up on the traditional blue kind of deck. So I can see it having a very positive very positive Strifle pile matchup.
Yes.
That is a beta for us. Thank you, Chaotic Bear, for the shout out. You are a resident basic lands expert.
Right. That is a really nice forest. I can't lie.
Forest.
Yeah, Walked Airplane Cloud Post is probably the best matchup we have. Looks like that Dryad Arbor is going to eat the fate of Lightning Bolt to the face.
Bolt the bird. Do it.
Bolt the tree. Bolt them all. If it's green and it came out on turn 1, bolt it. It's done. It's dead. Glistener Elf.
Veteran Explorer.
Glistener Elf. Noble Hierarch. The bird. A Llanowar Elf. A Dryad Arbor. It doesn't matter. Elvish Reclaimer. Bolt them.
Yeah, except for the Veteran Explorer, of course. It's very rarely you ever want to bolt a Veteran Explorer.
Unless you really need to ramp yourself. Like a lands deck. That's true. There's something dirty about casting an M12 Lightning Bolt off a Beta Taiga. Oh, lemon. That just makes it all that much better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sylvan Library is going to come out and port. So there's a Nettle Sentinel on Mike's side. It looks like they're kind of trading blows here back and forth. Mike is down a land. So that Sylvan Library is going to allow Spy to really start to creep ahead little by little. Mike really needs to do something here so he can ramp himself a little bit faster. Otherwise, he's going to fall behind, and then Spy 2-2 is going to be in a position to deal with any elf that enters the battlefield and just slowly grind him down. Then the exploration is going to drop, and that'll be all she wrote.
Yeah, so importantly here, Mike missed that second land drop.
Yeah.
Mike was really counting on that Dryad Arbor. Elves is a 17 land deck, so pretty much every individual land drop counts.
Right.
And if you don't have a Heritage Druid or a what's called a Llanowar Elves, which in this case, Mike can never let go of that one of Llanowar Elves, you're not going to have a way to produce mana outside of that. And the Rashad import is definitely going to go to town here and start porting down that forest.
Yes, and that is going to hurt a lot. If you're Spy 2-1-2, are you able to take a couple turns and do this, or do you just
Yes.
slam your? Oh, that's
Ooh.
going to hurt a lot right here.
Oh, okay.
That's
So
going to do
those
damage.
that don't know Valakut Exploration, it is 2 in a red and has a landfall trigger. When a land enters the battlefield, you exile the top card of your library, and you can play that card until end of turn.
Right.
And so, and combined with fetch lands and exploration, it's really good for as card advantage. But when okay, Gaia's Cradle, that's a Gaia's Cradle. But the last part of the Valakut Exploration says as at the end of the turn, those cards go into your graveyard that you've exiled and deals 1 damage for each card that's gone into the graveyard this way. So it gives lands a very fast kill.
Is that a glimpse?
That's a glimpse.
Nice. Here he goes.
Oh, cue the Julian music, the what's it called? The charge music.
The charge music. There's a Birchlore Ranger. Does he still have 1 green? There he's got more. He might actually be able to that's going to make him 3 green. He might actually be able to do this.
Yeah, especially with a Nettle Sentinel to untap. I think this okay, and an Elvish Visionary.
Now he can draw some cards. Golden. And he's going to draw off of that glimpse also, and the Visionary.
Okay, Mike really needs
spotter.
A Wirewood Symbiote or something like that.
And there's a Heritage Druid, untaps, draws. Okay. Am I incorrect on that? He should have drawn 2 cards from that Visionary.
I think he did draw 2 cards. Did he not draw 2 cards?
I don't know. I just saw the one.
Heritage Druid.
They're addressing the table. He did get a second card. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to make sure.
Okay, good. Okay. So yeah, Mike doesn't make those mistakes. Mike knows Elves.
Oh, absolutely. But when you're in the heat of the moment, you're fighting down a Valakut's Exploration. Sometimes you can let things go. He's got another 3 mana here. Tap those 2.
2.
Yep.
Going down to 1.
There's Wirewood Symbiote. Here he goes. So this is it now.
And if you haven't noticed yet, almost entirely of Mike's deck is foil. So in case you haven't noticed.
That's by accident.
Oh yeah, completely by accident. But yeah, this is okay. So we got Quirion Ranger, we got Wirewood Symbiote,
activating Heritage Druid. There he goes.
Yeah, we got 3 green. So, and for those that are unfamiliar or new to Legacy, you may see that Mike has flipped his Wirewood Symbiote and his Birchlore Ranger upside down.
Yes.
Or sorry, the Quirion Ranger.
Yep.
Basically, what this signals is that the ability that can only be activated once a turn has been activated this turn in order to prevent any sort of games rules violations or just accidentally miscounting because you assume that you have an extra land drop or an extra untap.
Right. Which is a really nice way, especially in a deck like this, when you've got so many triggers and so many ETBs and so many untaps that you're trying to do to continually generate mana. It's just a really easy way to keep track of that. Absolutely good thing to bring up, Doc. Because that's not a lot of thing that people, if you're new to Legacy and you see your opponent turn their Wirewood Symbiote upside down, like, what the heck are they doing? Maybe they just tap weird. No, they're actually activating it.
There are a lot of nuances when it comes to Legacy, and these are one of those things, like when we were talking about how graveyard order matters, as well as the fact that other things like making sure that you've accurately depict how many times you've activated your abilities and such like that.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
importantly here, when you reset Quirion Ranger like that by flickering it back to your hand by Wirewood Symbiote,
Yes.
you can activate it again. But in this case, Quirion Ranger does require a force in order return a force to its hand to untap target creature.
Right. And thank you for Chaotic Bear for typing all this out, because I feel bad that it's similar words: untap Druid, tap both for Ranger, untap draw, tap both for Ranger, tap 2 for Druid. I feel bad. This is
I would
Elfstorm.
also this is what we were talking about, where it was a critical mass space deck. As you can see here, Elves has this massive board, but it requires that massive board to do these sorts of things. If it
Correct.
doesn't have that massive board, it can't kill with the Greater Hope Behemoth.
Absolutely. Absolutely correct. And this is why this is actually a very intricate matchup, because if he can't create this board state right now, then Spy 212 is able to completely keep it under control, and he actually fizzles. So Mike has got a giant board of Elves, but unless Spy 212 can get rid of some of this, clean some of this up and get rid of the cradle maybe, this is just going to happen again next turn.
Yeah, and importantly here, Wirewood Symbiote does allow you to save a lot of your Elves from being
Removed.
bolted or punishing fired and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you really just have to go for the Wirewood Symbiote. And importantly, this is not a deck that runs black, so there's no just slam a Plague Engineer and lulls your way to the bank.
Right.
It's one of those things you have to do it the hard way.
And it looks like Spy is going to keep those 2 extra cards, so they are at 11. And there is a second Valakut Exploration.
Not what Spy's looking here. Yeah, so we have a Wasteland for the Gaia's Cradle, which definitely does restrict the mana.
Yes.
But we need a tabby. Yeah,
and he actually is going to scoop him up.
Yeah. Well, being at 11 life, facing down almost 11 powers and attackers, like, sometimes Elves can just get there with dumb green beats.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's just it. Those creatures are still 1/1s.
Yes, exactly. So, in this matchup, though, when we go to sideboard here, start with Spy 212, we have a 1 of Drop of Honey, 2 Pyroblasts, 1 Red Elemental Blast, 4 Spheres Resistance. But as you can see, lands hates playing against any sort of combo based deck.
Right.
2 Chokes, 3 Force of Vigor, and 2 Mindbreak Trap.
Right.
What do you like here, and what are you bringing in?
Well, so do you bring in the Mindbreak Traps because your opponent's a combo deck? I say absolutely, because if they go to Tutor and you Mindbreak Trap their Green Sun Zenith, then they just fizzled. I also like bringing in, I think, the Drop of Honey here.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, Drop of Honey, this card is insanely expensive. That's the first thing I can tell you about it.
I can read it for you if you'd like.
Oh yeah, definitely. Hit me up with it.
Drop of Honey is originally from Arabian Nights, and it says, at the beginning of your upkeep, destroy the creature with the least power. It can't be regenerated. If 2 or more creatures are tied for the least power, you choose one of them. When there are no creatures in play or no creatures on the battlefield, sacrifice Drop of Honey.
It's a mono green abyss, basically.
Yes.
And because of that, it's very good in the attrition-y, go long type of games. But in this type of game where you're hoping to just untap, no, Drop of Honey is just as the periphery nodes for the 1%. That's very true.
And that actually is because of the fact Planar Chaos had those time spiral type effects. Periphery nodes is exactly that card, except in white instead of green.
Yeah. And also because it's from Arabian Nights, it means that it is hella expensive.
Right. Absolutely.
Let's see what the average is on it right now. $572.
Yeah, it's up there.
But in
that's true,
Elves,
Chaotic Bear. You don't have to spend money on Savannas if you drop a Honey.
Yeah, that's true.
That is so true.
So in Mike's sideboard, we got 3 Abrupt Decay, 2 Assassin's Trophy, 1 Collector Oof, 4 Land of the Void, 1 Progenitus, and 4 Thoughtseize. What do you like bringing in here?
Well, I really like the Abrupt Decays because Abrupt Decays can destroy the Valakut's Exploration. I think that's the biggest thing that I'm afraid of. You also have Assassin's Trophy. We can do the same thing. However, I don't think I want to give my opponent any lands. I think that's really the biggest thing that I'm really worried about. Out of this board, we really didn't see much graveyard play. He didn't see a Life from the Loam. He didn't see a Punishing Fire. I don't think he's going to be thinking to bring the ley lines in, but I absolutely think Abrupt Decay will come in.
Yeah, I do like bringing in like maybe a 1 or 2 of Abrupt Decay, but honestly, I'm going to default to Julian's way of sideboarding when it comes to like these kinds of matchups. Bring in the 1 Progenitus, slam the Progenitus as fast as possible.
And I do agree with that as well. The faster you can get the Progenitus on the board, the faster you won that game, especially if you're up game 1.
Yeah, exactly. I would just be trying to slam a single Progenitus and just ride that to the bank.
Mountain Called Monkey, thank you so much for the follow. Thank you for joining the MTGPL. If you would like a link, !Discord in the chat, come hang out with us, man. Come hang out with us, play some Legacy. Show us what your elves can do.
So importantly here, we don't have the whatchamacallit. No. There's no what's the chasm that prevents any sort of
Glacial Chasm?
Or Glacial Chasm. Thank you. There's no Glacial Chasm in this matchup.
No, there really isn't. And that's kind of the way that this lands deck is built. It's not like the green post deck that was, I think it was Champagne's deck that had Glacial Chasm in it. Yes, it was.
Yeah, I think it's Champagne's.
Yeah, this one is more, I think the way that Spy 2 and 2, theirs is built more so like an aggressive creature removal base. Granted, it still runs Tabernacle, which is a main deck. I mean, that's an awesome card for lands, period. But it is a Field of the Dead deck also. So with all these lands, Grove of the Burnwillows, it's got Punishing Fire. It's got removal for days. It really doesn't even care. So,
yeah. So to address T-Bane's question in chat, when we're talking about the reserve lists and stuff like that, it's important to know that as much bitching and moaning that we might have in regards to it, the only time that Wizards be really need to get rid of the reserve list if the risk is worth it.
right.
And when it comes to the reserve list and reserve list prices spiking, I think that actually has to do a lot with, as Mr. Jack Dax was talking about, the stimulus checks that are coming in, because let's be real here, Commander players love their shiny lands. And the next thing I really do think is it's definitely tied with everything that's happening in the stock market right now. With a lot of people getting a lot of money going up with GME, if you sell off from there and don't hold the line, hey, you need to put that money into something else. And buying reserve list cards is not a bad idea because it's a pretty solid investment.
So I'm not a finance person. However,
nobody's a financial advisor here, by the way.
I'm going to say something, and I don't want people to get upset about it. However, it's not just Magic cards that are going through the roof. It's every collectible. And it's because they're preying on us. These people know that we will pay ridiculous amounts for things like cardboard or collectibles, and they are absolutely going to make as many dimes as they can off us in this time. So the fact that we pay this amount of money for these cards makes their value exactly what they're selling for. Gaia's Cradle being $856 is $856 because people are paying $856 for that card. When we stop paying $856 for that card, Gaia's Cradle is no longer $856.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with that completely. Magic has gone through very much a boom within the last 5 to 6. I would say even about the last 5 to 6 years. Magic has really grown.
Absolutely.
And I think that also has to come with honestly, nerd culture has really grown.
Oh, absolutely, it has, because Magic. I've been playing Magic since 1993. I mean, I'm old as F. I'm just being honest. So, by the way, Tabernacle's down. This game is probably over unless he's got an Assassin's Trophy.
This is 100% almost over. The faster the Tabernacle, the more impactful it is. So, yeah.
The Magic is an amazing game. I've been playing it a long time, and I've seen a lot of its iterations. I've seen a lot of its transformations. And Magic is no better of a game now than it was 10 years ago or 20 years ago. It's always been badass. That's all.
Yes.
That's all there is to it. It's always been intricate. It's always been interesting. It's always been awesome. You always have that spaghetti monster hiding underneath the shell duck aisle. You always have those amazing things that happen when you're like, oh my god, I can't believe that just happened. You always have the guy bluffing the I can't even think of the LSV.
The famous all the LSV plays where he bluffs having the flipped land where you can activate that, where he actually has the
No,
what's it
it's
called?
exile. It was exile all attacking
Yeah,
creatures. Why can't I think of that damn
what's it
thing?
called? I always read
Anyway,
it too. Standard cards.
it's you've always had that, and you will always have that. You have pre-modern, you have legacy, you have vintage, you have old school, you
Settle the
have
wreckage.
settle the
Thank you,
wreckage.
Mr. Jackson.
You have all these things, and they've always been there, and they've always been amazing. People will continue to prey on this, and Magic is going to continue to get better and better and better, whether they abolish the reserve list or not. Reprinting these cards is not the answer. Respecting what the game is for what it is, and playing what you can, proxying, playing on the Discord. We're proxy friendly. It doesn't matter if Drop of Honeys is $572 because I can print it off for $3 and play with my friends. I'm not going to a tournament. Yes, I would love to own it, but if I can't afford it, I'm not going to pay somebody $572. I'm not going to stretch. I don't need to.
I agree completely. When it comes to that sort of stuff, you can have legitimate goals when it comes to legacy.
Absolutely.
And honestly, building your first legacy deck is unlike building any other deck in Magic. It feels like an accomplishment. When I first started building my legacy deck, I was in grad school making basically under minimum wage.
Right.
And I saved my pennies. I sold off cards that I didn't need or that was, just sitting in a box someplace. And I slowly acquired all the cards for it.
Right.
And it's one of those things that it was a goal of
It's a
mine.
rite of
It wasn't
passage.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that I watched legacy players like growing up. I watched how I remember watching Roland Chang just like absolutely murder in the legacy World Files with Blue Green Madness.
Right.
I have always wanted to get into legacy, and that's why it was my goal as an
No
adult
champagne, it's not.
to get into. No, Tabernacle. No. Tabby is the pinnacle of expensive lands. But it was one of those things that you want to get into the investment side of things, and eventually, it's one of those things that legacy will always be here, and it's always be a fun format, and that's why people like us exist, so we can offer this to people no matter the price.
Right, exactly.
A lot of people come out here, don't have complete decks. I just built a new deck this week, and I don't have like a quarter of the land base, but I'm going to proxy it and play it because I want to play fun, wild decks.
Well, that's just it. Legacy is one of the most powerful formats you can play in Magic. And by the way, that Thespian stage just became a wasteland, and Mike is really hurting for mana right now.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
there should be no barrier to entry. You should not have the right to play a format because you spent $8,000 on your game pieces.
Yes.
Period. Anybody that sits down with me, if you've got your cards printed off, I'm totally cool with that.
Yeah.
Totally cool with that.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I just want people to play the format.
Yeah.
I want
totally
people
agree.
to play it and have fun with it because to be perfectly honest, there are a few games that can get the interaction, that can get get you thinking and get you going like a legacy game can. I play 5 rounds of Legacy, and my brain hurts more than like an entire day at work because you just have to think so much. But it's so much fun to do.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. I completely agree.
Yeah.
So it looks like in response to the wastelanding the Bayou, it was bounced with Quirion Ranger, and then he replayed the Bayou. Quirion Ranger is the greatest tool against Wasteland.
Yes.
Greatest tool.
I 100% agree. I think Quirion Ranger is going to be an MVP in this matchup.
Yep.
Especially because it helps the Dryad Arbor.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Champagne says we're not at $7,000 legacy decks yet. Prez, one of my good friends, if my collection tanked tomorrow, but it meant all my friends could play Magic, could play Legacy, I'd be 100%. Rax is 100% on board with that. I completely agree as well, even though my wife would probably be upset. But I'm just kidding. She wouldn't care either. But it's the fact that all of us are here doing what we're doing because we love Magic, we love Legacy, we love our community, and we want everybody to be able to play it and share it because it's amazing, absolutely amazing. Yeah. So if you're Mike, what do you do here? You've got to keep paying for these creatures that you keep putting on the board.
Well, and that's the thing. That's what I was talking about. Like the earlier the Tabernacle, the better. If you're able to get a turn 1 Tabernacle to disrupt up and just buy you time, that's great. I think the issue here is actually on Spy 212 because Spy 212 has not made a further land drop, has
Correct.
not committed anything else to the board. I think Spy 212 really needs a Sylvan Library here.
Yes.
Or a Valakut exploration or something because there's
who
clearly
are punishing fire.
That's what's in the hand.
Yep. Which means if a grove comes down.
Yeah, if we get a grove, this game might be over.
No. Yeah, I totally agree.
I mean, Trophy does do enough. Play Oh,
I said I was kidding.
I won't say anything.
I said I was kidding.
But I really do think Assassin's Trophy is pretty much where Mike is right now because an end step Assassin's Trophy, and even then, Assassin's Trophy isn't that bad here because Spy 212 only runs a single forest in the deck name land.
Well, and Champagne brings up a very valid point. Mike can only do that in response to Spy 212 being tapped out. Otherwise, that stage is going to become a Tabernacle. So stage has to be tapped and utilized, and then he can actually do it. There's an exploration.
Well, an exploration is only as good as the amount of land drops that you have, and as we've seen here, we haven't seen any land drops from Spy.
Correct, and Spy is holding mana up as well. So you have to protect that Tabernacle.
Okay, so
he's paying for something, tapping it. He's paying and then bouncing it back to his hand, then replaying.
Yeah. So if there's an Assassin's Trophy in hand, I think this has to be the turn that you go for it.
Bounce the Bayou to untap Arbor to pay for Arbor, draw. Replays the Bayou. Yeah, and I still think there's a Wirewood Symbiote, so at least he can do a little bit more shenanigans. This is
gonna be so taxed.
I know Tabernacle is such a difficult card to play around for Elves. He really needs to find a way to remove it, but if he goes to do it right now, he has to do it right now.
He has to do right now, or honestly, I think. I mean, you're just relying off of Spies, the top of Spies deck being bad,
right?
And yeah, I think we're getting in here for 2. You gotta get some sort of pressure.
Right. No, I completely agree. See, next turn, how is he going to pay for all of this?
Yeah. I mean...
Arbor can pay for itself. You can bounce.
Yeah.
You can untap the Arbor, pay for something else.
So you can generate 4 mana here by paying 3 for them. Bounce the Forest or the Bayou and untap the Dryad Arbor and re-tap for the 4th mana. But I mean, you're talking about like all the mana being tied up, unless Mike has.
Okay, there he goes.
All powerful. Okay, or it just ends up reducing the amount of creatures that you have.
Yep, which is a good idea. So he's got to pay for the Dryad Arbor to pay for itself. Tap the Bayou. Pay for Quarian Ranger. Wirewood Symbiote. Okay. So he can get around this, but that really taxes him the whole damn turn.
Until there's a Gaia's Cradle.
Yep. Oh, he is going to let the Dryad Arbor go.
Okay.
Yeah, but that stage is still a wasteland, so.
Stage is still a wasteland. You can't bounce the Gaia's Cradle.
You know what actually be pretty good? He's got to bait it out somehow. He's got to bait out playing a Cradle to bait out the wasteland, or he's got to so that he can't copy the Thespian stage and then Assassin's Trophy the Tabernacle.
Yeah. and that's assuming they brought in Assassin's Trophy. I do think Assassin's Trophy is definitely more important in this matchup than Abrupt Decay. So I think Mike would have brought in the 2 Assassin's Trophy or the 2 Abrupt Decay. I
True.
really think that the Abrupt Decay is for like the Delver type matchups where you need to kill that threat.
I agree. My only argument for bringing the Abrupt Decays is the fact that it doesn't. A lands deck wants more lands. Giving your opponent lands is not the best way to go about stopping your lands player
It's
from
only
having
a single
lands.
forest in the deck. It's only like it's called lands, but there's it's all non-basic lands.
Well, I
There's only
know
one
that,
basic.
but they have crop rotation and things to go get other lands with.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong there. Honestly, I do like Mike's plan of just like screw it. You're not putting anything to the board. You're not committing anything. You already used the one punishing fire. I'm just gonna get in for 3 to 4 a turn
Right.
and just go as deep as possible.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Oh, okay. So returning Elvish Visionary to the hand and then recasting it.
To draw more cards.
Yeah.
The nice thing is with a Heritage Druid, those 3 elves can at least pay for themselves.
Yeah.
There's another Quirion Ranger. He really needed that.
Quirion Ranger. Yeah. Okay. So at this point, your Spy 212, do you fire off the Wasteland? Or actually,
No.
I really like End Step. End Step. Oh wait, no, Tabernacle is legendary, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't have more than one.
Can't have more than one. It's a really, really good thing that you can.
Yeah. He did pass here. Mike is just slowly trying to build more of a board state. He does swing 1, so that puts Spy 2 and 2 down to 15. Another Thespian stage, which means now he effectively has 2 Wastelands. Or 2 Tabernacles, however you want to look at it.
Okay. So if I'm Mike here, I just pay for everything. Don't even care about like when it comes to mana economy or anything like that. I just pay for everything and just start swinging in.
You think so?
Yeah. At this point, you have a wide enough board. You know that traditionally lands doesn't have sweepers and it doesn't have what's it called, or plague engineers. So at this point, you have the board advantage. Get in for 5 every single turn. Go as fast as you can.
Well, yeah, that
and
Nettle
try to
Sentinel's a
finish off.
2/2, so
Yeah, exactly.
Nettle Sentinel's a thick elf, so they're doing damage.
And I mean, it's not like Mike can't still draw cards. The Elvish Visionary's in hand,
Yep.
and
So he's drawing
Mike
2
should
a
always
turn.
keep that Elvish Visionary in hand.
That's going to untap. Now he could attack. Absolutely. It's going to another 3 mana.
Okay.
And he's going to try and go off again.
Do we have a natural order for?
There's
Sentinels?
a glimpse.
Okay.
Nettle Sentinel on taps.
Okay. Let's see what we got here.
There's a Birchlaw Ranger, so now he can make colored mana. Another Heritage Druid.
Importantly, there's no land drop that's happened this turn yet, so slamming Gaia's Cradle is still an option.
Yeah, that is true. You getting one good tap with that is maybe all you need.
Exactly. Okay, we're seeing.
I love Elves. Elves is such a chess match.
I really do think Elves is one of those legacy decks that it can be considered playing 4D chess.
I totally agree.
The amount of times I've just seen players like Reed Duke, and Julian come off of these insane wins off of a single glimpse of nature, just chaining into creatures is insane. So I really do think that Elves still, like, even though people are like, "Oh, Plague Engineer makes it so that Elves isn't a thing anymore." I've lost through Plague Engineers before. It just happened.
It does. It absolutely does. There's another Birchlaw Ranger. It's gonna draw.
That's why my latest deck puts 2 Plague Engineers on the board at the same time. Have fun abrupt king that.
There's the one of Llanowar Elves.
Okay, I like it.
He's got all the mana in the world if that Tabernacle isn't there. There's another Heritage Druid.
Mike's got to have found a single.
He's got to have.
He
has to have his an answer in hand. He has to.
I think he's got it. I think he's just building enough so that a Crater Hoof is just lethal.
Right.
Because we got 5 mana untapped, no land drop. Mike could, in essence, just slam
Allosaurus Shepherd.
Honestly, that card finishes games by itself.
Oh, I agree. However, your creatures have to be untapped.
Yes.
Tapped dinosaurs can't deal damage to your opponent.
Does Mike have 3 creatures that can attack this turn?
He does, but they're all tapped right now.
Well, I mean, that's not hard to do.
True.
With a Quirion Ranger.
True. Absolutely.
So if he just has, if Mike has 3 creatures that can attack this turn, just pump up all of them into 5/5 dinos with off of a Gaia's Cradle, turn them in.
I don't think, like Champagne says, I don't even think he needs to, in all honesty. Hoof and 2 creatures is just lethal.
Yeah.
Actually, Hoof pumps itself too, so Hoof itself is lethal.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, Hoof by itself is lethal.
Absolutely. And there's the Cradle.
Ooh,
that's it, baby.
Is.
There's the Crater Hoof. Hardcast Crater Hoof. Boom.
There it is. Yep. And then that untaps the Nettle Sentinel, which can also attack.
Yep. 1919. It's a big hoof.
Ooh. And
he can use the Quirion Rangers, bounces lands back. He's got 3 Quirion Rangers. There he goes. Yep. And it even beats crop rotation for a Mazavith. Absolutely. There's another one. He's got one more there too.
And
he's going to attack with those 3.
4 creatures swinging in. Hoof is 4. Very lethal by itself.
Yeah, that is lethal. Settle the Wreckage? JK.
No.
That would be no. Bad beats for Spy. Drew too few lands. Oh, the virtual handshake. That puts Elves.
Virtual handshake.
That put Elves at 2-0 for that. Mike, congratulations. That was a great showing by Elves. That was a great showing by Lands too. Spy 212. This is their first time on stream with us. That was a fantastic showing.
That was a very good showing. Honestly, I just think Spy 212. Oh yeah, it had Force of Vigor in hand.
Oh,
I think Spy 212 was had like a couple of sideboard cards in the hand. Just couldn't get those extra lands to really hit the field, and there's no draw power. So honestly, still really good matchup. Lands is one of those one of those decks that just benefits so much from that Valakut exploration. It's really great to see like how it is now.
Yeah.
And if you want to play lands, you can do so by proxying it up and coming and playing on the Discord.
Yeah, absolutely. ! Discord in the chat. I already typed the link there. Click the link. Come join. Come hang out with us. I'm Beyond Sadistic, Doc. All of us are here playing Legacy. Mr. Jack Dax, Prez, BOTW, Champagne. Champagne's an absolute killer on the server. You take Champagne down, you're the real deal. So, I mean, absolutely. This is what we do all day, every day. Tuesday nights are our Legacy Fight Nights. People sign up. They get to play player versus player. A lot of times we have themes like Pre-Innistrad, or we had meme decks a couple weeks ago. That was awesome. Somebody won with a 250 card Shadowborn Apostle Battle of Wits deck. Yeah, it happened.
Yep.
It's real.
Yeah. The Battle of Wits even happened, and that was the best part. I almost fell out of my chair when that happened.
Yeah.
It was hypest moment.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I mean, honestly, our LFG channel is always going. There's like constantly people are going. We just started opening up European as well as European time zone, Southeast Asian time zones for our Sunday tournaments.
Yes.
So even if you're across on the other side of the world, you can come in and join and have a great time on the Discord.
Yeah, and that's just it. We are trying to give all of you guys a place to play Legacy that suits and fits what you are looking for. A lot of people don't feel comfortable going to their LGSs. We don't feel comfortable going to our LGSs right now.
Yes.
So we come and we play Legacy here. It's safe. We're in our own homes. We can proxy up. We can play whatever deck we want. If I want to play a 4 drop a honey green cloud post deck, I'm going to do it. Why? Because I can. Because I'm 1 HP printer cartridge away from whatever deck I want.
It's
I've still got my own cards. I've got everything else, but I can pick up whatever deck I want and play it anytime.
Yeah, and it allows you to really experiment with decks, to try things out that you weren't expecting, to go into like different decks that, maybe you're like brand new to Legacy. You're trying to find your niche. Honestly, I did that for years.
Right.
I started off as a red-black Reanimator player. And like I was playing Reanimator, I was playing Death and Taxes, all these different things where we're finding my niche in Legacy. And that's what's really important about Legacy, is finding that niche for you to just have fun in, and just, even in the games that you lose in Legacy, everybody still is happy because you're playing Legacy.
Yeah. Azul4, thank you so much for the follow. Thanks for hanging out with us. And thanks for joining the MTGPL. Thanks for letting us be your local meta. Absolutely. So the February leagues just kicked off today. There are over 90 players in the February league this month. We also just had our, or we're about to have our invitational this Saturday. We have an invitational every quarter. That is going to be so hype. You guys, we're here every Saturday for our weekly challenges. This Saturday is going to be a special one. It's our quarterly invitational for the last quarter.
It's a 6 or 7 round tournament, double elimination. It is a total blast to have. And honestly, it's my favorite time. And, all of us mods get all dressed up. We get to go cast it. And honestly, it is the best time to play Legacy, because you get to see the top of the Discord.
Yeah, absolutely.
We also put our debuts. We're the winner gets a playset of our awesome tokens that we have.
Mm-hmm.
And we just have like a really good time for the invitational. So come check us out this Saturday. Hey, we'll be there. We'll be streaming all day. Come see who takes it down. I'm really excited to see who takes it down this time. There are so many good players in this invitational, and honestly, I don't know who's going to take it. I don't know.
I don't either. We have an Infect player. I'm just super excited about that.
Of course you're excited for the Infect player. I don't know. Like, Charbel's back in it again, and Charbel won the first one. Honestly, if Charbel's bringing Allurin, that scares me by itself, because Allurin's just so good. And like, there's just so many like different possibilities that we're coming in for this invitational, and it is a very stacked tournament. All these players have played against each other. They know what they're usually known for, and they know like how to play around it. The meta has shifted a lot.
Correct.
And I'm super excited for it. It's gonna be a while to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And like Doc said, we are also adding in our European time zone events on Sunday. There'll be more information about that on Saturday, but we just want everybody to be able to play. That's what it boils down to. We do all of this for you guys. So thank you so much for all of you guys that are part of our community. Like I said, we are literally we are just about 2,000 members strong. That's a lot of Legacy players. That is a lot of Legacy players in one place with a ton of knowledge. If you're new and you're timid, don't worry about it. Come play. Print off a deck. Ask some questions. There's tons of people that want to give you their knowledge.
Hit up the deck discussion channel, because there's so many people posting their decks in there that are discussing different decks and different deck archetypes. And honestly, it's just a good place to just hang out. Like, I check the Discord daily. I'll get involved in conversations there. People are hitting me up for like random deck ideas, and honestly, it's just the best place to be, and I love it.
Yeah, I agree. So thank you so much to Pain Cow and Malfi, Champagne and Walked, and McDiff and Spy 212 for playing tonight. We will be back on Saturday with our quarterly invitational match. It'll be an all-day stream, all of us dressed up, looking good. No Clash at Demon Head t-shirts. Yeah, me too. I got to do the same thing. So I want to thank all of you guys for hanging out with us tonight. Our videos are posted on YouTube at we are the MTG Paper Legacy. So come check those out. We're also on YouTube. We are the MTG Paper Legacy on YouTube as well. So thank you guys.
We have a Twitter, everything else like that, and we also have a couple of things we're debuting on the Invitational. I'm very excited for.
Absolutely. So my name is Beyond Sadistic, and again with me was Doc DeLeo, And yeah,
Have a good
Doc,
night, everybody.
you have a good night, bud. You
Yeah,
and you and you too. We'll see you guys later.
Have a good one.